neighbouring Saudi Arabia. The Foreign Secretary Douglas Hurd is making his way to Kuwait this evening and says that the Allies won't flinch from using force. Tonight there are new reports that Iraqi troops are pulling back from the border, but it's too early to say where they're moving.
This is the advance party. 250 men, 1,000 more will follow. 45 Commando is the spearhead battalion of Britain's Rapid Deployment Force. It's just part of Britain's response.
Yes.
They are, of course, preparing for combat. But the whole atmosphere for the forces on the ground is one of uncertainty. Kuwait is still calling for a military exclusion area in southern Iraq, which seems to support so radical a measure. So exactly 1 week after this confrontation first began, and Kuwait is now flooded with foreign troops. But it still has no means of stopping Saddam Hussein from provoking a fresh crisis. Robert Moore, News at 10 on the
conditions for desert warfare. In temperatures of 110 degrees, the Marines are briefed on the equipment the Kuwaitis have made available to them. That some of it is outdated matters not. Saddam Hussein is now up against one of the best trained fighting forces in the world.
If he is going to go for it, he has to be mad, really, and he's not got the back of his people, but the guys are prepared to do what they have to do in order to do it. That's why we're spearheading, that's why we joined up to do this set of work.
The relationship with the Kuwaitis is excellent. The arrival of the Royal Marines so soon after the Iraqis moved south was a great boost to their morale. So much so that they left their billets to give the British troops somewhere to sleep before the Marines move out into the desert.
They seem quite pleased to see us, actually. I think they're happy with it, along with the Americans and everyone else. Just give them a hand, really.
This spearhead battalion of the Royal Marines must now play a waiting game. But their presence here, just a few miles south of the border between Kuwait and Iraq, is a powerful reminder to the Iraqis that any further threats to Kuwait will not be tolerated. Jeremy Hibbard in the Kuwaiti desert for West Country Live.
Baghdad with what he believes is a deal to settle the current standoff. Iraq, he said, would recognise the sovereignty and borders of Kuwait. The Russians don't want to see military action against Baghdad.
My job and the civil job of other diplomats and politicians is to fight for peace.
As the flurry of diplomatic activity switches to Kuwait, the American Defense Secretary William Perry flew in to reaffirm the US's commitment to Kuwait's security. He addressed one issue especially worrying to Kuwaitis, the thousands of Iraqi Republican guards based at Nasiriyah, less than an hour's drive from the Kuwait border.
Only if they move these forces north, only if they truly remove the threat from Kuwait, will we terminate our deployment.
And that deployment of US-led coalition forces includes 1,000 British ground troops. They've been acclimatizing themselves to desert conditions. 45 Commando are equipped with 105mm light guns, mortars and Law anti-tank weapons.
Over the next few days, in the 2 days that we've been here already, we're starting to acclimatise. So hopefully after a couple more days, we'll be ready for whatever we have to do.
Do you actually know why you're here? I mean, the threat from Saddam seems to be going away.
It does seem to, yeah, but I mean, as it's proved already, it's just come back at any time, something really got to be done, got to keep coming back.
But first the diplomats are working towards something other than the military option. John Cookson, Sky News, Kuwait.
The final preparations for desert warfare. In temperatures of 110 degrees, the Marines are briefed on the equipment the Kuwaitis have made available to them. That some of it is outdated matters not. Saddam Hussein is now up against one of the best trained fighting forces in the world.
If he is going to go for it, he has to be mad, really, and he's not got the back of his people, but the guys are prepared to do what they have to do in order to do it. That's why we're spearheading, that's why we joined up to do this set of work.
The relationship with the Kuwaitis is excellent. The arrival of the Royal Marines so soon after the Iraqis moved south was a great boost to their morale. So much so that they left their billets to give the British troops somewhere to sleep before the Marines move out into the desert.
They seem quite pleased to see us, actually, yeah. I think they're happy we're here, along with the Americans and everyone else. Just give them a hand, really.
This spearhead battalion of the Royal Marines must now play a waiting game. but their presence here, just a few miles south of the border between Kuwait and Iraq, is a powerful reminder to the Iraqis that any further threats to Kuwait will not be tolerated. Jeremy Hibbard in the Kuwaiti desert for West Country Live.
Just a few hours after Iraqi forces began collecting near the Kuwaiti border, the reassuring silhouette of HMS Cornwall was anchored a mile off Kuwait City. She'd been there a fortnight earlier on exercise. This time, she was on battle standby, a powerful and visible reassurance for the people of Kuwait.
Well, I think it is important that the Kuwaitis see that Britain, represented by the Royal Navy, is here and in their support. For part of the time, I've been close into the shore, flying a large white ensign, but there's more to it than that, and militarily we've been ready for any contingency which could develop, and for a lot of the time we've been patrolling offshore in the direction of Iraq.
That state of readiness means the waters of the Gulf are watched around the clock. Weapons are loaded and manned. The Iraqi forces appear to be withdrawing, but the Navy can't rule out the terrorist threat. It's a scenario for which Cornwall's crew are well rehearsed.
3, 3, 4! Flash, this is Bravo Golf. All positions EWD, check safety chat.
All positions people have exit bearing 344 now at 14 miles.
All positions people based on Serrano bearing 345. This is an excellent attack.
Well, it really has been the most extraordinary week that I've known on board, and of course it was all totally unexpected. We were enjoying the dying embers of a rather good run ashore in Dubai, and in fact I arrived back on board last Friday night and was told, that's it, we're sailing. And of course, that gave us a little bit of an adrenaline rush. I thought, well, is this a real situation? We've done all the training for such a contingency before, but we never actually thought it would actually happen.
But it has happened, and in letters home, the crew now write of an uncertain future, while trying to reassure loved ones that all is well on board.
Got lots of thoughts at home. Wondered how my wife and 2 children are, how they're taking this. Basically, they're having just as worst a time as we are.
The worst thing's been waiting around. You know, we've wanted to get on, and if there's something going to happen, we'd have rather got on and done it. It's just been sitting around and waiting for something to happen and not knowing what is going to happen, taking each day by day sort of thing.
That uncertainty can bring its own tensions. The ship's chaplain, Graham Smith, lends a listening ear to those who want to talk through their problems.
Yes, there have been people who've been a bit concerned, ranging from those who were concerned as to what were we going to go into, were we going to go into some form of action, through to those who were just very concerned about what their families were thinking, and those that were very concerned about were we going to get home late, and all the tension that built up. So yes, it's a case of actually being able to be the listening ear, pick up the signs, pick up the folk that perhaps are looking a bit withdrawn, and trying to get alongside them.
But there is still a serious military threat, and HMS Cornwall's 280 crew have little time for reflection.
All positions AC412 is in good two-way comms and Adam Center.
Generally, the troops are aware that there's a job to be done, and there's no doubt in their minds that they're here for a reason, and they will do the job that's required of them. The team spirit is very, very good, morale is very high, and as long as there's a job to do, this ship will do it.
The new special relationship between HMS Cornwall and the Kuwaitis is already paying dividends. Locals bring the eagerly awaited mail from home and supplies of fresh food and milk. Like all reminders of home, it's much appreciated among a crew who don't know when they'll next be back there.
What I don't understand is Saddam Hussein. If you do, please tell me. I think it's the fact that he's done so much in the past, which is illogical, which worries us about the future. What else might he do which would, to our eyes, be unpredictable?
The Iraqi threat appears to be receding, but for the time being, HMS Cornwall will remain here in the Gulf. She was the first ship into the Gulf when the Iraqis moved south, and there's considerable determination on board to see this job through to its conclusion.